Itzhak Adizes is not a household name by any means whatsoever, and yet people who I really knew and admired and trusted, when they spoke about him with a reverence that you usually reserve for a Peter Drucker.
Dr. Adizes was just recently voted as one of the top 30 global leadership consultants by the Executive Excellence magazine.
Your methodology has enlightened our company to the lights we've never seen. And I'm proud to say that we're the oldest and largest family-owned sporting goods company in the world. And Dr. Adizes, I owe it to you.
Grupo Salinas experienced a 15-fold increase in revenues over a period of 10 years using the Adizes methodology. The Franklin Mint attained a 6-fold gain in revenues without outside equity over the same length of time.
The perfect manager does not exist. We are all mismanagers. And the greatest mismanager is the one who believes he's a perfect manager.
35 years of experience form the basis for the unique insights and methodology Dr. Adizes created to manage accelerated change in organizations of all sizes and in all stages of their life cycles. This methodology has been successfully tested in thousands of organizations, from startups to Fortune 100 companies, to governments, and in 40 countries. Dr. Adizes lectures worldwide in 4 languages, was granted a Columbia doctorate and 4 honorary doctoral degrees, and has authored 10 books translated into 30 languages. It is now possible to experience 33 of his lectures with the Top Leaf DVDs. Welcome to the Adizes methodology.
Good day. The word leadership is very much in vogue today. There are many books written about leadership and what makes a good leader, and that we all need to be leaders, and some people are born leaders, or how do you develop leaders. It's a subject that preoccupies us a lot. But I would like to give a word of warning. This is another fad in my judgment. We have saw the word management change over the years. At the beginning, the process was called administration. That's why the first books in management were about administration, and the first journal in the field was Administrative Science Quarterly, administration. But then when administration did not produce the desired results, the word administration was relegated to some middle management, to the bureaucrats. They are administrators. And a new word was created, management. That's why many business schools changed their names from Graduate School of Business Administration to Graduate School of Management. Because it was felt administration is only a piece of the action, and what we really need to amplify and understand the concept on a much wider way. That didn't work either. The management process did not did not produce the results that were expected. So a new fad emerged, and it's the word executive, CEO, Chief Executive Officer, executive programs, executive development and training. And the word management now was relegated to middle management. They are just management, they are not executives. The executive is at a much higher level. The word have changed, you see. Now the word executive is not doing very well either, is it? So now the new word is emerged, leadership. What we really need is leadership. I'm suggesting to you it is the same lady in a different clothes. We have not changed the paradigm of our thinking. We are still individualizing and personifying the process of management. And we believe that by changing the name and amplifying the concept, we are actually changing the phenomena. If we are not. Whether it's an administrator, a manager, executive, or a leader, the paradigm is still staying the same, and that's why it will not work. And what is not working? The expectation that a single individual can manage anything. It's difficult being a single parent. We need a complementary team in our marriage in order to raise our children healthy. Same thing is true for an organization. You need a complementary team. The outstanding leader, manager, executive, prime minister, spouse, parent, child does not exist. There is nothing perfect. If anything is perfect, don't hold your breath. It's only for a short term. Everything, because of change, has strengths and weaknesses. Everything has some faults somewhere. That is natural. That is normal. Nobody can be outstanding on every subject, in every situation, forever. Even God admits making mistakes. If you know the Old Testament, God has brought a flood, killed everyone, a whole civilization, because they were wrong people. They were not righteous. He left only Noah to survive. He brought the flood for 40 days. And then God was thinking. You see, a time, 40 days to think. And he said, it's not going to work. I can't kill them every 2-3 generations. It's not going to work. So I bring to myself, every time it rains, now please realize God is worried that he might be forgetful. Isn't that interesting? He brings a rainbow to remind himself to stop the flood, because it's not going to work. In a sense, he's admitting, I made a mistake. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. So who is this righteous person that is always right, that is impeccable, never makes a mistake? That's too much to expect, is it? Every human being has their strengths and their weaknesses. But the managerial job, the job of leading an organization, the job of making an organization to be effective and efficient in short and long run, to be healthy, is far too complicated for any single individual to do. So what do we need? We need a complementary team. I already said it in another segment. Look at whom did you marry? You married a complementary team. You fell in love with your own weaknesses that come as a strength in the other person. But that means what? That we are different. We think differently. And some segments in this program tell you how those differences work and what to do about it. But the essence is we need each other, but we don't like it. Why? Because we are different. We think differently. We have different needs, different expectations, different styles of making decisions. And that creates a lot of conflict. So now what do we do? What is a leader? Please look at my hand. Do you see that the hand is 5 different fingers? 5 different fingers. And we need the 5 different fingers in order to get a hand. Because every finger does something different than another finger. If you had 5 fingers, like the pointing finger, would you have a good hand? This is the best finger there is. No, you will not have a good hand. Because you will need things that this finger can do that this finger cannot do. Now, in another segment, I also told you that in the Middle East, when the 5 fingers are together, that's called a khamsa, that's a blessing. When the 5 fingers are separate, that's a curse. So if you put it in front of somebody's face, 5 fingers like this, you're actually cursing them. What is the difference between a blessing and a curse? Probably 2 inches. Are we different and together? That's a blessing. Or are we different and separate? That's a curse. So what is the role of leadership then? Look at my hand. Which finger is the most important one? This one. You know why? Because the thumb is is the only finger that works with every other finger. If you don't have a thumb, you don't have a hand. As a matter of fact, if you lost your thumb by some accident, a surgeon will have to break your healthy finger to make it perform like a thumb so that you can have a hand. You know what the leadership is? Here is the title of my future book, or a chapter in my present book. Being a leader is being a thumb. Make us work together. Make our differences work as a hand. Please, many people think that leadership is this finger. Do this, pointing, telling people what to do. That's also leadership, no question about it, but it's only appropriate for a startup, by the way, or under tremendous time pressure or very risky situations. Somebody has to say, stop talking, time is too expensive, the cost of time is higher than the value of what we are getting out of it. Do something. Let's be approximately right rather than precisely wrong. That's okay, that's a leadership. But for a prime organization that is not under some crisis, normal situation, this is leadership. To get the different people to work together, to cross-pollinate, to enrich each other with their different points of view. It's like a group of people that are blind describing an elephant. Each one of them sees a piece or feels a piece. By communicating, they can see the total picture. And that's what we need in management. None of us is outstanding. None of us can do everything. What we really need is to work with each other, to complement each other. Then the totality is stronger than the parts. How does a leader do that? How does a leader do that? How do you make the differences work together? What I found out is what makes a difference between constructive and destructive conflict. Why some conflicts end up in a I can't stand you anymore syndrome. I can't work with you. It's very destructive. It robs us of energy. We cannot handle it anymore. And why, in another situation, a conflict is really growthful. You feel invigorated, energized, you learn something, you're appreciative of the difference. You appreciate what you learn. There is even a Zen expression that says, if all people think alike, none of them is thinking too hard. When you walk into a meeting and everybody says, I agree. Nobody's thinking too hard. When do you start thinking? When people disagree with you. You know, some ethnic groups are extremely smart, but pay attention to what's happening in the ethnic groups. They constantly challenge each other. They constantly disagree with each other. Jewish people is one of them. They never agree on anything. They will always try to find out a hole in your argument to disagree with you. That makes you think. That makes you constantly think. It's not a very easy way to live, but you constantly think. You constantly move your wheels. When people disagree, they think harder. But how to make the disagreement and thinking harder not be exhausting, disruptive, discouraging, dysfunctional? It is by having a culture of mutual trust and respect. And what does it really mean? What does it mean, mutual respect? Let's start with mutual respect. It is not how nicely you speak and how you smile and listen and look the person in the eye. I mean, some people, you just want to kill them. They speak very nicely, but you see the big teeth behind it. I mean, I've seen this in the faculty meetings when I was a professor. When a professor was starting a meeting and saying, may I disagree with my learned colleague? Wow, you know that the guy is pulling a knife to stab you with. So it's not the tone of voice. It helps, but it's not it. That's not the essence. And I was looking for many years, what is the essence? What does really respect mean? And I found it with a philosopher, Immanuel Kant, who says, respect means to recognize the sovereignty of the other person to be different. Let's go over that slowly. To recognize the sovereignty, what does it mean? Undeniable right of the other person to think differently. When do we show disrespect to somebody? when we say, how can you think like that? How can you say that? It's unbelievable. This is idiotic. It's totally inappropriate. What are you really saying to the other person? Don't you dare to think differently. You must think like me. That's showing disrespect. Respect means to accept the other person as a right to think differently. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you give them space to think differently. That's respect. That's respect. And what is trust? Trust is not synonymous with respect. Most people think, oh, it is one and the same. It isn't. Trust is when you believe, you have faith that the other person has your interest at heart. You trust those people that have your interest. When you share interest, when there is common interest. That's why with a person you trust, you can turn your back to them. Why can you turn your back to them? Because since we share the same interest, if they stab you, they actually stab themselves. That's why you can trust them. They have your interest in heart. That's why they're not going to hurt you, because hurting you is hurting themselves. I trust people that share my interests. I respect people I learn from. If two people think alike or identically, one of them is unnecessary. Talk to yourself. What do you need the other person for? So what is a leader? A leader has to make the different fingers work together, like a hand. A leader has to make differences work synergistically. So we kind of enrich each other with our differences. We learn from each other. How does he do that? That is the role that the leader has to perform. And how does he or she do it? By creating and nurturing a culture of mutual trust and respect. That's how you raise your children too. The children are different. How do you make a family out of different styles? You and your spouse are different. The children are different. This can be a mess, can it not be? How do you make a family out of it? There must be mutual trust and respect. We must respect our differences, and we must share the common interest as a family. And the same thing is true for a company. And may I suggest to you the same thing is true for a country. If you are a prime minister, that's the most important thing you have to work on. How to create a culture in your country where mutual trust and respect dominates. Because when the trust and respect is gone, that's when the dysfunctionality, the conflicts are enormous, and the country gets stymied or even disappears as a country. Thank you very much.
To learn about the Adizes methodology of management beyond the top leaf recorded lecture you've just seen, we encourage you to use one of the Adizes programs, publications, and/or worldwide consulting services. These provide proven paths to obtaining deeper knowledge and breadth of the Adizes methodology. One way to learn more is by joining a Top Leaf Leadership Forum group. The group meets in peer-to-peer learning sessions, where they discuss how to apply the concepts from the recorded lectures the group has viewed, and then in subsequent sessions share their experiences and learn from each other. It is a hands-on experience under the guidance of a trained Adizes certified facilitator that can also be delivered by video conferencing. Your group can be within your company, or you can join a peer group representing multiple companies. In between group sessions, participants use our online learning system, where they can access their manuals, engage in online discussions with their peers, and research our digital books library.
One lecture from each module can be purchased and viewed online. Certified facilitators buy an annual license to use Top Leaf in training programs. Licensed files are delivered on a rental iPod video. Our curriculum is also available in Spanish.
As with all programs and services from the Adizes Institute, Top Leaf is available in several languages. Top Leaf groups are today being facilitated in foreign countries with the use of video conferencing by multilingual Adizes facilitators directly from our headquarters.
With the Top Leaf, which I joined almost a year ago, I had a big benefit from it. Really helped me in managing my companies.
Always at the forefront in techniques and technology, the Adizes Institute continues to be placed at the top of the lists that distinguish and reward for excellence. Recently, it was ranked in the top 10 Best in Leadership Development. You can always learn more by reading Dr. Adizes' books. Recent titles include Management Mismanagement Styles, Leading the Leaders, How to Handle People Whose Style is Different from Yours, How to Solve Management Crisis, Mastering Change, Pursuit of Prime, and his seminal work, Managing Corporate Life Cycles, How and Why Organizations Grow, Age, and Die, and What to Do About it. Dr. Adizes' books are available in 30 languages. Everyone now gets access to the digital versions of the books. To purchase Adizes books and DVDs, go to www.adizes.com/store. Beyond attending Top Leaf forums and reading the books for in-depth application of the Adizes methodology, Adizes offices worldwide help clients by using the methodology to accomplish rapid and effective strategic changes.
The Adizes offices exist to provide clients and those that want to deploy the Adizes program and management resources and tools more effectively. And because this is the core competence of an Adizes office, the clients are able to do so with greater speed and accuracy.
The Adizes Institute has offices in 11 countries, working in 9 languages, staffed with certified associates who have been trained for over 3 years in the Adizes methodology, and who have been practicing top managers prior to joining Adizes.
The way in which the program gets deployed, it always starts with an initial diagnosis. That's more like a self-diagnosis by the core management team. And then based on what the issues are and the unique life cycle position that the organization finds itself in, a customized program is designed.
We need a color team of styles, PAEI.
In addition, Adizes associates deliver lectures and workshops in multiple languages to increase the understanding of change management in a world of accelerated change. Certified associates have a deep and diversified professional experience base. In addition, the Adizes training and certification process is rigorous and lengthy, 3 years for full certification. Training for Top Leaf facilitation takes less time, but requires no less commitment to the core methodology, crucial to obtaining successful results. To become a certified Adizes associate or to contact your local Adizes office, go to www.adizes.com. The Adizes Graduate School for the Study of Leadership and Change offers MA and PhD programs online. Dr. Adizes is the dean of this internationally acclaimed school, as well as the originator of the Management Vitality School. The Management Vitality School offers interactive, distance learning workshops that provide high-level learning of Adizes principles to senior managers and executives. To enroll in the Adizes Graduate School, go to www.adizesgraduateschool.org. To enroll in the Management Vitality School, go to www.managementvitality.com. Join us by becoming a Top Leaf group participant or a certified Top Leaf facilitator or recruiter by going to our website, www.adizestopleaf.com. To enroll in the Adizes Graduate School, go to www.adizesgraduateschool.org. To enroll in the Management Vitality School, go to www.managementvitality.com. To purchase Adizes books and DVDs, go to www.adizes.com/store. To become a certified Adizes associate or to contact your local Adizes office, go to www.adizes.com.